The Hawks begin their 2024-2025 campaign taking on the Indiana Pacers in Atlanta at State Farm Arena. And I have to say it was a nail biter. I saw the game last night. But before we get into all of that, definitely want to make sure I take the time to introduce myself. My name is Walter Pollard, and this is Atlanta Hawks Digest. I am going to be giving you the tea from now until the end of the season. But really, just in all, man, I was really excited, of course, just looking at the Hawks, and we've gone over it all. We've gone over the DeJounte Murray trade. We've gone over the 36-win season last year. We've even talked about the lack of defense and things of that such. And yes, I honestly believe that the Atlanta Hawks, they're headed in the right direction. General Manager Landry Fields and Coach Quin Snyder, they have the Atlanta Hawks reeling. And I have to point out that, of course, going into training camp, there was a lot of clamor, a lot of excitement around the team specifically, not around the fans and all the blogs and things of that such, but really the team. You dig what I'm saying? Trae Young, he likes getting away. He actually likes getting away and going away to training camp. Of course, training camp was held in Athens, Georgia, at the University of Georgia, of course, and Trae Young, he just enjoys it. You dig what I'm saying? And not only that, but there was positive vibes coming from the team that was going on in preseason. Larry Nance even was found in the comments speaking about Jalen Johnson and how impressive he's been looking in the preseason, in the training camp going into preseason. And again, not only just that, but just team chemistry and team development. It just seems like this is a great bundle of joy coming out of preseason, and I really do look forward to now and the rest of the season going forward. Now, just to get things started, the starting five for the Atlanta Hawks, of course, was Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Clint Capela, Dyson Daniels, of course, who was acquired in the trade from New Orleans and the DeJounte Murray trade or whatnot. Of course, Dyson Daniels was involved, and of course, DeAndre Hunter, who wraps out the top five for the Atlanta Hawks going forward. And again, I like this, and of course, I was expecting somebody from the New Orleans Pelicans trade to actually become a part of the starting five, specifically Dyson Daniels, and I've been saying it. I think that Dyson Daniels, he's going to be not the number two to Trae Young, but I do feel as though he's going to be the missing piece and almost the motor for the team as far as showing up on defense, showing up on different plays and things of that such. He's really good as far as a defensive player. But before we get into all of that, man, let's just show you some highlights really quickly as far as, and I was talking about Dyson Daniels.
Trae turns the corner. Now Trae Young.
The first quarter and just how Dyson Daniels has made himself available. Now, the only problem, of course, again, and I don't even think it was much of a problem, these guys are filling themselves out. They're getting used to actual game minutes. And now the Pacers, they jumped to an early 22-5 lead over the Atlanta Hawks in the first quarter. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the preseason. But the thing that I want to point out is that of course, around that time, Zacharie Risacher, he actually debuted into the game around that time. And we can even, get into talking about Zacharie Risacher, of course, and what was expected from him. A lot of people expected for Zacharie Risacher to be a number one guy because he was the number one pick. But again, I feel as though he's going to be a great addition and really a positive role player to help Trae Young get the Hawks back to hopefully the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe even a finals appearance. And again, I wanted to bring out in regards to the first quarter was that the Atlanta Hawks were down 22-5. And yes, they bring in Zacharie Risacher, and then they go on a 30-9 run, ending the first quarter with a 35-31 lead over the Indiana Pacers. And again, I feel as though that shows resiliency. This team looks as if they are excited and they're ready to get, just to get going, man. It's the preseason, yes, but I feel like I'm excited, and I've been following this team since June of last year, since the draft, and what this team was going to do, be that they got rid of their, I guess, I don't want to say Batman, Robin, but you know what I mean. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out again was, Trae Young just being Trae. I talk about a lot of the other people and a lot of the other different teammates that he has and a lot of the different acquisitions, Larry Nance, Dyson Daniels. We even got, Zacharie Risacher, all of the different additions, but Trae Young is still just being Trae Young.
Good to see all our friends here at the arena. Trae! Oh my goodness! With 1/10 of a sideline. Walker all over.
Against the Indiana Pacers. I'm thinking of Colts, but the Indiana Pacers ending out the first quarter. Now, again, with that being said, we could even go into a lot of the other things that I was expecting from this core group that's going to be playing, going forward. And my thing is, it's really just the points off of defense. And one of the things that the Atlanta Hawks, they struggled with last year was defense. How are they going to be defensively? How are they going to stop teams? And how are they going to create stops? For points. One of the things I saw last year was that the Atlanta Hawks, they could score with the best of them, but they couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. You dig what I'm saying? And so now I feel as though we do have people that can possibly make positive changes on the defensive end. And yes, we could get points off of Bogdanović was not playing tonight. Of course, he was in his regular civilian clothes, but we definitely want to see him get back into the mix. And hopefully he could just be another addition to this core group, because so far from what I've shown you, this looks impressive. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but this really looks impressive. And I also want to point out, are the Hawks being underrated? They view the Hawks as having a 36-win season. But again, it's preseason. We understand. And also, too, I wanted to point out that Indiana, they only had 16 minutes per starter. All of their starters only played 16 minutes, whereas DeAndre Hunter had played 23 minutes. Jalen Johnson did 22. Clint Capela played 19. Trae Young played 21. And, of course, Dyson Daniels played 22 minutes. So, as you can see, it feels as if the Atlanta Hawks were definitely trying to see how they fared and actually wanted to gel this core group. And I like that. I like how they're very focused on bringing the core group together. And then on top of that, to end the game, I want to go back to Zacharie Risacher with 23 minutes on the floor, 18 points. He was 3 for 4 from the three-point line. That is impressive. He was actually 1 point off from being the high man of the night. Of course, Jalen Johnson with 19 points was the high man of the night. But, of course, Zacharie Risacher, I expect there to be more coming from him. But somebody I really want to point out is this guy, Vit Krajewski, or I can't get it right, but I know that they call him Vit. That's his nickname, or that's the name that they give him, Vit. But, man, listen, he had a pass that could listen, it was awesome, and you guys got to see it. And you can hear as I'm talking, I'm getting more and more excited, because this was just a preseason game. And then not only that, listen, I would love to close it out because Seth Lundy, not only came in the clutch for the Atlanta Hawks, only had 3 minutes playing, but he hit the most important shot of the impressive. And I can't wait to see more of it. Of course, you can check with me all season long for all your updates and information. But, man, that was exciting. I'm almost out of breath, but y'all can catch me next time. Peace.